Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Podcast Answer Man. Cliff Ravenscraft here, and we are at Podcamp, Ohio, in a breakout session that we just decided to do in a very impromptu manner. And I am surrounded by literally hundreds of thousands of people in this room. Actually, just a couple of us. But I'm going to let folks introduce themselves. We'll start with Robin, who's to my right. And Robin, tell us who you are and what you're involved in the new media world.
Well, I'm Robin Maiden. You can find me at robinmaiden, maiden.com. You can find me there. I have my blog. I'm pretty deep into the new media world. I did give a presentation here at Podcamp, Ohio, and the title of that was Enterprise Podcasting, Internal Enterprise Podcasting. So I'm really trying to take the new media world into the business world. And so I'm applying some of the new media technology and providing an extra tool for managers to use. Also involved with a couple other podcasts. There's InsightWorks, InsightWorks.com, thedivacast.com. We have another cheerleader over here for that. And also my wife's show, Dear Zanny, Z-A-N-N-Y. That's a relationship podcast. She's a marriage and family therapist, and so she will give advice over a podcast. So those are the ones that I'm involved with. I'm also doing one for the company that I work for, Delta Airlines. So I do an internal podcast for our flight operations, and you can find that at dalpilot.com/podcast.
Great. Thank you very much. All right. And then the next person to the right would be Jeremy Laughlin.
Well, you just said my name. So I'm also known online as Phlegon. That's Phlegon. I'm on Twitter with that name, and there's a link on my Twitter page to my blog, which I update sometimes. Actually, I'm doing a live blog today of things here. I was just live blogging the Podcasting 101 session, which I went to because I haven't actually started a podcast yet, but if I ever decide on a topic or just to do a no-topic podcast, then hopefully one of these days I'll actually start one.
Very cool. And then to his right is...
This is Daniel Lewis. I'm the Ramen Noodle at theramennoodle.com and twitter.com/theramennoodle. And to clarify it for everyone, the proper pronunciation is ramen noodle. And the proper spelling is THERAME, a couple of N's, a couple of O's, and a DLE.com. And it's a comedy podcast, podcasted seasoning packets of comedy from the life of a bachelor. And I'm just having a blast here at the conference, and I didn't bring any ramen noodles, though, so it's kind of depressing.
Short lunch.
All right, and then to Daniel's right is...
Hi, I'm Allison Lucan, also known as Allison L. on Twitter and pretty much every other social media site that's out there. And I don't have a podcast. I'm in the process of getting one rolling, but I've taken some of Cliff's podcasting seminars, and he got me all excited to do one, and I'm just enjoying being here and meeting everyone, having a great day of community and friends.
Excellent. So really there is no topic here, so feel free to change the subject as often as you guys like, but I'm going to ask who here is this their first Podcamp experience?
Me.
Yeah.
Me too.
Is it all of us here? Or yeah.
No, Rob and I are both Podcamp veterans, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you guys just randomly, what do you guys think about Podcamp so far? I mean, we've only had the morning session so far, but what is your thoughts?
Cricket.
We had the party last night, which was just kind of an informal, unofficial party, but any feelings or vibes about the interaction there?
Well, I've met a couple really cool people, like I can't remember his name, but the guy from godsmac.com does a...
That would be Gabe.
Yeah, Gabe does a faith-based technology podcast, and his description of it was really exciting, and I enjoyed really just talking with him, on a spiritual level, on a technology level, and just how we had that same connection there. And the sessions here have been great. I went to this morning a couple sessions and just hung out in the hall a little bit. then just came out of the viral marketing session, which was really good. And
I saw that was packed, and I'm just going to pull out real quickly the description on that was absolutely horrendous. So here's the title of that session. It was where'd it go?
Session 2.
Orchestrating a viral explosion.
It was packed. It was packed, but just from the title.
And the voice of God came during it.
Oh.
Because...
wow.
I really set that one up.
Did anybody record it?
Someone got it. But Jennifer was talking about some of the technology she didn't like, or one of her experiences in presenting somewhere. And she mentioned that she didn't like Google. And right then... boom! We hear the thunder. And so I think it's kind of obvious that God wasn't too happy with her saying that she doesn't like Google. Or maybe Google now controls the weather.
I think Google does control the weather.
Did they acquire the atmosphere?
They did. Yeah. Well, they went beyond Google Earth, and now they're...
That's right.
Yeah,
Google Solar Sky.
Yeah, Google Sky. And
not just
Google
Earth weather.
Atmosphere,
Yeah, Google Atmosphere. So I think they've got it all now.
Kind of scary.
Well, I think you're doing the right thing at the Podcamp. For any of the listeners that have not been to a Podcamp before, I stressed it in my presentation too, that what you have to do is be out in the hallway and just walk up to people and say, hi, what do you do? I want to know you. I think that's the whole thing about Podcamp. From the party last night until the party tonight, that's what everybody should be doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really cool because, of course, Twitter has been an amazing tool for helping to introduce us to each other. I think you guys met each other through Twitter.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so here you've got, it's at Allison L. or at Fleegon or at the Ramen Noodle, and to come and put together a face with that name, and then to walk, and what's really cool is to walk away from the weekend or the time that you've got to spend face-to-face. And then when you see that person's name again on Twitter, it's never the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a more deep, rich, personal relationship from that point forward. Even if you only talk to somebody for 45 minutes to an hour, it's just amazing how that really solidifies that relationship, bringing it out of the digital world into the real world. So
Absolutely. And it's great to meet people, like with anything, but with common interests and people who share in our geekdom and get excited about the same things. And Jeremy and I were in a session, and it was cool to hear something, be like, oh, is that true? And it's great to have that community of people who are excited about technology as well.
yeah. I was leaving an Utters message on the way up here. DG and I were on the road, and I was telling people, I said, what's really awesome about this place is it doesn't matter how much of an introvert you are. There is no excuse to not go up to somebody in a crowd and just introduce yourself. Because I can understand in a crowd, if you go into just a general session or a general conference that's about some kind of topic, you really are there because of work or something you just had to do. For me, especially for me, if I am not into sports, I could care less about sports. I think sports is the most boring thing in the world. I don't fish, so I'm not going to be able to talk about fishing. I don't hunt, so I'm not going to be able to talk about hunting. And so these are the typical guy things. And so when I would go to an insurance conference or these other conferences, I'd see a group of 3 or 4 guys huddled, and they're all holding their beers, and they're talking about sports and all that other stuff. I was like, there's just no way I'm going to go up and be able to comfortably introduce myself into that conversation. It's just like, so what do you do when you're not selling insurance? Oh, I'm behind a computer all day long, 24/7. I love it. But it's like,
Playing with my Adderall.
Yeah. But in a place like this, everybody here is a geek. I mean, you at least share one thing in common when you go to a Podcamp. You're at least interested in either blogging, podcasting, or social media. I mean, one of those 3 things you're going to have in common, whether that person is just now getting into it for the very first time and they're here because their interest has been piqued, or they're a veteran, they've been doing it ever since it first came around. The truth is that everybody has that same interest. And the other cool thing is that a majority of the people that come here don't know a lot of other people. And so if you see 2 or 3 people huddled around, it's not because they're all good old buddies and haven't seen each other since high school. They just met each other too. And so to go up, I mean, they'll genuinely be interested in, so what are you doing? And just the conversations. You have, I'm looking at some of the titles here, WordPress 101, and you've got, the communicating via Twitter and all these other great sessions. But I will tell you, what you can get in one session, you can get 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 times that amount of knowledge about new tools and technologies out there in a 25-minute conversation with 5 people in a circle. Mm-hmm. It's like, so have you tried this? Have you tried that? Have you tried this?
Well, it's already happened. Last night when we were at the restaurant last night, I picked your brain on how to secure some RSS feeds. That was one thing. I learned about the Edirol R09 that it'll actually do phantom power. So I picked up some tidbits far, far away from any of the sessions in here, but those are really valuable to me.
Yeah, exactly. And see, those are conversations that are going to only, that's information that's really only going to come out of a conversation, getting to talk to somebody, really picking their brains, because nobody's going to sign up. It's like the basics of the Edirol recorder. Nobody's going to join that session. So, I mean, that's exactly right. You get in, you just ask questions. And that's cool. So what are you using? Where are you hosting your media files? How much do you pay for this? Have you tried this? Really a lot of valuable information that, honestly, I'm hearing that there are people out there that for their trade or their industry or whatever their hobby is, if they go, number one, they pay lots of money for entry fees into these conferences. As much as $2,000-$3,000 for some of them, depending on how big they're into that hobby. And you think about the technology that supports and is behind what all we're doing, and the fact is that this conference is absolutely free. Mm-hmm. And all this information is just free-flowing in the community and the relationships around it. It's just really awesome.
Talking about walking up to people that you don't know and just introducing yourself and asking, starting a conversation. I got to tell you what I did this morning, though, when we got here, is in the lounge area, there's this coffee machine there. And it's got all of these different coffees listed, and it has this one listing that simply says French vanilla. And so Fleegon was there, and he works at a coffee shop. And so, I asked him, well, from your professional opinion, is this coffee or is this cappuccino? And then he went on some rant about, well, it's really neither because you can't get real cappuccino from a machine. But
true.
It tastes less like coffee that way, so I like it. But anyway, so I didn't know if this was just French vanilla coffee or was it cappuccino. So there were a bunch of people in the room. So what I did is I jumped up on a chair and I said, excuse me, may I have your attention, please? I'm the ramen noodle, and I have a life or death question here. Is the French vanilla from this machine coffee or cappuccino? And I got my answer. One of the guys said, it's cappuccino. And I said, thank you, that means life. And I stepped down and got it. And a bunch of people laughed and such. And I realized afterward, I thought, I just introduced myself to a whole bunch of people at the same time.
Yep.
I don't recommend everyone do that. But
thankfully, he warned me first and I left.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Well, if anybody's out there listening in the audience and considering going to Podcamp, I cannot recommend it enough. It is a fantastic thing to do. And if you're just dabbling, well, this will push you over the edge and you'll be a new media knucklehead.
That's right.
And you don't have to know what was. I'm new and I'm very young in my growth in new media in terms of doing podcasts and things. And you feel very welcome no matter your knowledge level. And I've found there are people here who know less than I do, which was shocking that that's possible. And then there's people who know so much more. And there's no prerequisite for knowledge or understanding. Just it's here for all knowledge levels, all experience levels. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's neat to be able to share that and to give it too.
Yeah.
Like doing the unkeynote that we started with, I was sitting next to a lady that someone had diagrammed out basically the internet for her or something like that. And so I made they were diagramming social networks or something, but I looked over at it and I made some joke about, did he diagram how the entire internet works there for you? And she laughed. But I was able to help her out by giving some WordPress tips or pointing her in some directions, even just pointing out based on what she was talking about she's interested in, just pointing out, oh, you'll probably want this session here because knowing what this person is going to talk about, it sounds like it's exactly what you need. And then yet receiving information too, like last night, talking with different people, hearing about cool websites that I want to check out or new podcasts I want to subscribe to.
Right. So, okay, we had last night's party. We had this morning's sessions. We're just now breaking for lunch. Robin, you shared some valuable information that you've picked up on. You basically shared that you're excited to understand, at least learn now, that some of these portable devices, even though they don't have XLR inputs, if they have an eighth inch jack, that some of them do supply plug-in power. So it will supply power to a condenser microphone if you choose to use such. So you explained that you learned that. What was the other thing you said you learned? The securing of RSS, how I was able to accomplish the unique RSS that's only available to a certain individual that I give access to. Anybody else in here want to share something, just some new insight that you've picked up either last night or today so far? Any new website, new hosting, any new idea?
Well, I said this earlier, but I attended Robin's session, and I just was really inspired by the concept of harnessing podcasting to use in corporations and in quote-unquote business America. I think that as companies become more, boundary-less, as they're all over the world, as they're working from their homes, I think the podcast is such a great way to keep the company strong and keep communication strong. And I'm really riding a high from that message, so I'm excited to play with that.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, very cool. For me, of course, I've been doing Podcasting 101 webinars, teaching people who have very little experience other than maybe listening to a podcast and helping them understand how they can actually start podcasting and the understanding of it. So this morning, I sat in the first 15 minutes of Podcasting in Plain English by Dave Jackson, and it was really neat to watch him because he explained bandwidth in a way that I'm like, wow, I'm going to have to start using that. And what he said is if you think about it, just imagine, okay, this person here, he had three people up. You have this person here, they represent the media. Okay, and then you have this person here, they represent the host. Okay, and then you have this person here represents somebody who wants the media. Okay, and so if you can imagine that it's really not a big deal if one person wants the media just to go get the media. But when you get an entire group of people and they all want the media at the same time, there becomes a real problem with that because everybody's grabbing for the media. And so what you do is you get a host who is strong and who is secure and is able to work with things very fast, and they know exactly how to deliver the media in a way that's very efficient and stuff like that, and can do it at a very inexpensive cost. And so basically they're able to say, here's the media for you, and you. And if you can imagine all of that stuff, the word bandwidth seems to be something that's a hard concept for people to grasp. What is bandwidth? How do you? And he says, if you think about this, if you imagine yourself driving down the highway, and cars as you're going down the highway, it's traffic. And so in essence, what's going on is if you can just imagine technically the media files are traveling down the pipes here. That is basically with each car that represents, or each media file, that's traffic, or that 10 megabyte file is taking up 10 megabytes of bandwidth or traffic space or car lengths or whatever on the highway or the road. And so just people understand traffic, and so therefore its bandwidth is the same. So basically, if you go on certain bridges, they tell you not to go over capacity. It's like, hey, this bridge was built to sustain 400 cars. You put 700 cars on this thing, this bridge might collapse. And that's the same thing with bandwidth. It's like, listen, you're paying us this much money for this much traffic. And if you go over that, if more than that passes through here, it's like, listen, we're going to have to cut you off because the maintenance or all the other equipment that's necessary to support that costs more money. And so it's a great way to explain bandwidth. And it's like, I'm going to have to use that.
Better than Ted Stevens. The internet is not just a big truck you can dump stuff on. It's a series of tubes.
It's a series of tubes. It's all pneumatic.
I almost said that about 10 times in the last 2 minutes.
It's been on my mind.
It's a series of tubes.
Thank you, Ted
Really.
Stevens.
Yes, if you can just imagine it at the bank, it's something delivered straight from your house to their MP3 file or player. All right. Anybody else want to share anything else before we go grab some lunch?
Something not actually from the session I went to, but something I really want to check out because I was reading other people's tweets during the session I was attending, is all of these people mentioning Twitter tools that Michelle Lenz mentioned in the Small Words, The Power of Twitter session, of all of these cool sounding tools that I've got to check out now.
What are some of them that are interesting to you?
I'd have to look them up.
You'll be blogging that later for us, right?
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I'll tell you why he's looking. I want to say that on the trip up here, DG and I stopped at Micro Center, and they are not a sponsor of the podcast Answer Man, unfortunately. But if you guys have a Micro Center near you, just go to microcenter.com and check them out. I was specifically looking for some additional flash memory for my digital camera, and number one, I found an 8 gigabyte SD card, high capacity SD card, for $39, and it came with a portable SD card reader. That is, it's just about the size of an SD card, and so it plugs right into your USB. So for $39, 8 gigs of flash memory. However, I'm sitting there looking all over the store for this flash media, and I finally find it, and we're checking out, and when you get up to the counter, they have, instead of having candy bars and stuff like that, they had 2 gigabyte flash SD cards for $7.
Yep.
It's like, and then they have 1 gig cards for like $4, and
It is candy.
It is. I'm like, it's like, you just grab a handful. And
That's the way it should be. It's just a bin of these cards all by themselves.
Geek candy.
That is geek candy. And so, if you guys haven't been to Micro Center or something, just check it out. That is awesome.
The one thing though you need to be careful about with that is that flash memory has different speeds to it, and so you might get anytime that you see something that's just doesn't say what speed it is, or even sometimes if it says high speed, unless it's a pro grade or something really fast like that, you will notice a slowness to it. Like if you stick in a digital camera, these new ones especially, that are like 5, 8, 10 megapixels, you'll notice a slowdown when you take a picture on it because it takes a little while to write to the card. Whereas if you get like a Kingston or a compact SanDisk Pro line of cards, where they are high speed 120x or faster, then you'll notice a difference between the speeds.
Right.
And if it doesn't have write balancing, you may actually, if you're frequently writing to and erasing like the first gig or two of the card, you may actually physically wear out the chemical processes in those sections if it's not balancing your writes and your reads, or at least the writes, over the surface of the memory.
Well, that's good to know. But the fact is that at $7, you wear the card out. By golly, you can't go replace it. But I'm like in my MP3 player right here. My reader that normally tells me how many hours of recording. And I think I had my 2 gig card in here, and it told me, and at this MP3 rate, I could record like 32 hours or something. And now with the 8 gig card in here, it just simply says over 100 hours. So I don't know exactly how many over 100.
You'll fill that up, Cliff.
Yeah. But, it's and of course, I think I put it in uncompressed wave format for this Edirol recorder. My 8 gig card in here will record over 32 hours of uncompressed wave.
Wow.
So, that's like huge. Anyway, see, this is geek talk, right?
I know.
It's good stuff.
Here are a couple of the Twitter things.
Good.
Twistory,
that's so cool.
Twistory. What is that?
It's actually more like I don't know the technical term, but basically it's this big. It was started as a big experiment, and it queries Twitter off of key emotional words. There's a whole theory behind it if you go to the website. And there's also a screensaver, which I personally have. It's just really cool. They key off of love, hate, wish, thanks, and then it'll pull tweets that have that word. It's just it's a neat look at the Twitterverse.
So basically, you can click. There are just a couple different emotions. It's I love, I hate, I think, I feel, and anybody who if you do a tweet that says I hate Wendy's cheeseburgers, you'll show up.
Wendy's is not a sponsor of this podcast.
Exactly.
If they were, they're not anymore.
Yes, but if you wrote I love Mardell.com.
Or agdesign.com.
Design.com/podcast. Mention Podcast Answer Man, 20% off. Anyway, so, but if you, basically, it gives you a whole, so basically you can see what people are loving at the moment, or hating.
And it's interesting, because you'll see, like, I love Wendy's, and then the next thing will be something like, I've lost the love of my life. Like, it's because it's just that word, and it is my screensaver. It's just neat. It's just kind of a unique look at what's going on.
It's kind of, you feel like God, and you're overwatching the prayers of the universe.
Wow. But here are two others that were mentioned.
All right.
TwitKit.
TwitKit. I've not heard of that one. New stuff here.
And
TwitKit.
They actually have a Twitter address. It's twitkit.com or TwitKit.
Is it TWITKIT?
Yes.
Okay, well, let me go find it on Twitter, because it's not twitkit.com.
And the other one is Blackbird. Yeah, this person says that they gave TwitKit and Dosey's Blackbird a plug.
Okay, so it says Firefox plus Twitter equals TwitKit. Perfect.
Oh,
TwitKit,
so it's
the
like,
ultimate blend of subtlety and functionality. Get it today.
So it must be like TwitFox.
Yeah, it must be one of those API sidebar Twitter.
The other one is check out twitter.com/DOSSY.
Dossie?
Yeah, Dossie.
Okay.
Because he said he gave Dossie's Blackbird a plug, or whatever the Blackbird is. And then there's probably a website address link from there.
Okay, DOSSY and Dossie.org. Here we go. Announcing Blackbird, a Twitter client for BlackBerry phones.
Okay.
Very cool. Very cool. So if you have BlackBerry...
I should have gone to that session to find... Hey, everybody out there, I need a good Palm Twitter client. I hate MoTwit.
All right. And send that response to twitter.com/TheRamenNoodle.
Yep.
With the appropriate spelling as mentioned previously in this episode of the Podcast Answer Man.
Sponsored by.
All right. So, yeah, this is good stuff. I mean, see how, and I'm certain that just that little bit there is just a little bit of the sample of what's going on. And we still have an entire afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Jam-packed.
Yeah, the afternoon sessions
it's hard to pick.
Yeah. I've got priorities set on different ones.
I know. I was thinking about stepping out of my session for a little bit to go to this WordPress 201 Beyond the Basics.
I know.
What priority do you have on lunch?
That's about a 2 right now.
Yeah, lunch is getting ready to go. So anyway, I want to say thank you guys for coming and joining me for this little breakout session here.
Yep.
And we'll be back soon with another episode of the Podcast Answer Man. And you guys can find everybody out. I guess we mentioned all of our addresses and everything, right?
Yep.
At Allison L, at the Ramen Noodle, at Fleegon, and at
Robin Maiden.
Robin Maiden, Maiden. So thank you very much. We'll be back soon. Bye-bye.